I think YouTubers are good for boxing. Alright, before you destroy me in the comment section and unsubscribe, please hear me out. So for a long time, since 2010-ish up until 2020, right before the YouTube boxing scene really kicked off, boxing had a major problem with attracting new and young fans. I think during this era, boxing really showed its reputation of being an old man sport. Outside of maybe Canelo, most of the big pay-per-view stars such as Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather were well into their late 30s or even early 40s. And unlike traditional sports, these fighters would rarely compete during the year. And I've already detailed this in previous videos, but boxing politics and the belt organizations really have prevented big super fights. However, when these super fights do happen, the boxers that usually participated within these super fights frankly were not very exciting for casual fans. As much as they were highly skilled and extremely dominant, they weren't getting the highlight finishes some other combat sports were getting during this time. No other fight can illustrate what I'm talking about better than the Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao super fight that happened in 2015. This fight was by far the biggest super fight in boxing during this time, and when finally all eyes were on boxing, the two biggest pay-per-view stars put up one of the most forgettable fights. So with big pay-per-view events coming so far and few between, coupled with the fact that a majority of pay-per-view stars at the time were towards their 30s and 40s, and there was a lack of young emerging stars, it's pretty easy to see why boxing has fell out of popularity with younger audiences. So cue 2019, when KSI fought Logan Paul for the first time. This fight did historic numbers. It generated 1.3 million pay-per-view buys worldwide, which puts it at around top 15 in all combat sports. And recently in a GQ interview, promoter Eddie Hearn said that Jake Paul versus KSI did around 2 million pay-per-view buys worldwide. Now this is unofficial and this was simply in an interview, but if that is true, 2 million would put KSI versus Logan Paul at around just outside the top 5 biggest pay-per-view events of all time in combat sports. So if you're above 500,000 pay-per-view buys today in boxing, that's considered a really big event. So for KSI and Logan Paul to nearly triple this number in their first fight and unofficially quadruple this number in their second fight really shows how much eyes are on these events.